Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. Come on in. I hope you're having a good day. I am just getting this stream all set up. This is not the Adepticon stream, so I am changing the channel of that. I remember how to do this. I remember what I am doing and how to do things and how to stream. I hope you're doing well. I'm just going to post about this on Instagram. I'm going to let people know that I'm streaming. Then I'm going to share it in the Discord. If you would like to join the Discord, you absolutely can. It is free to join. It's a really cool place. Have fun hanging out with people there. I'll post a link to that in just a minute. But I hope you're all having a good time. How's your weekends been? Working on any good hobby projects? Feel free to start talking about anything like that in the chat. I definitely want to know what you guys have been up to. Hasn't been that long since I've streamed, but it's been a little while, so I assume we have a couple new projects to talk about, stuff like that. So I'm excited. I'm excited to hear about what you guys have been up to and show you what I'm painting. But yeah, I hope that everything's going well for you guys. All right, we're gonna get this going. I'm just adjusting my camera now, making sure that that's showing us all clearly. The camera's having a bit of a moment. I don't know what it's focused on, but it's not working, so I'm troubleshooting that. Gonna close it out and reopen it. That usually fixes the problem. But once we get that squared away, won't be a problem. There we go. All right. That's all sorted out. We're good to go. Just gotta attach it to the old stand thingy that it lives on. And then we should be able to jump right in. There we go. Awesome. Okay. Hello, Brady. Sorry for the wait on that. Didn't mean for that to take so long, but you know, sometimes we just have a moment and we gotta get our camera, everything set up so that we can actually get some painting done. And all of this only for me to realize that I've mislaid my painting handle. I will be right back because I need that as well. I'm a professional and I know how to do this. Ugh. Rip indeed. But we got there in the end. we got there in the end. I've got some of these fantastic little guys from Trent Miscast, so I'm going to be working on painting more of them up. I think I'm going to, starting with this one, I was lucky enough to get to try out some of the new Army Painter Fanatic paints at my local game store, and I found out I really didn't like them. So I know now that I won't be purchasing those, which is good to know. Like, it's good to learn things and figure out what paints you like before committing to a whole range and having them not work out. So I'm happy about that. It's a shame that they weren't, like, really to my taste, because that probably means I'm gonna have a couple of colors that I'll have to find actual decent replacements for. Yeah, I had my mic on the other side of the computer, which is a dumb place to put it, so I put it closer to where I'm painting. Hopefully that will fix any audio. I noticed that that was a bit quiet. I did tidy the desk a little bit, so hopefully it's a little bit more aesthetically pleasing than sometimes it ends up being. But, like, this was their mint green color, and it's just really gray, so I've gotta repaint that with our old friend, our trusty mint chocolate chip in a bottle, Gauss Blaster Green. There were a couple good colors that I did like. I did like this oak brown color that you can see is kind of the chocolate portion here. So I might be able to incorporate that. I don't know if I like it more than Mournfang brown, but it could be good to just have a different brown. I seem to need anyway a lot of different browns in my particular line of work. And I'm sure that brown is actually quite a common need across any painting style. And this one was a nice one. I'm not rushing out to buy any of them. But if I run out, maybe I'll pick this one up. I don't know. They had a really matte finish too, which was interesting. I do like matte paints. I just don't know if that's what I'm gonna want every single time. I do have that kind of struggle with the So Flat paints, when I'm not always sure if I want the super matte or if I'd prefer kind of a semi-gloss look. That's true. Everybody always needs black, whites, and browns. It's a fair point. I wish I'm not really much of a paint reviewer. I don't have a lot of interesting things to say about that. And I haven't been able to get a whole lot of hobby done because I've been working on art for people. I'm taking art commissions right now to save up for a bit of travel that I'm doing later in the year, so it's been really great. I've gotten a few. I'm happy. People have asked for interesting things and different challenges, and no one's been like, wow, you're charging too much or too little for these, so I've been really appreciative of the requests that I've gotten, and it's been really, really fun to be able to do them up. Soda actually got in before anybody else and was like, hey, I want a new logo, so that was a super, super fun one. I got to draw a little guy as well, which are definitely a favorite thing to draw. So I've been a little bit more on the digital art side than the miniature painting side, but I've also been working on a skirmish game. I am trying to write my own skirmish game, and I don't know if it's going poorly or well. I have a version that's at least finished enough for playtesting, but I have chickened out twice of asking my friends to playtest it with me. because I'm so nervous, and I know that they'll have questions, and I know things will be wrong. But the only way to make things better would be to actually play test it and figure out where the flaws in the game were. So I've gotta try and steel my nerves for that a little bit and finally ask people to play test with me. But right now, I'm very scared. I don't seem to be able to do it, so I'm just waiting. I don't know what I'm waiting for. It's not like someone's gonna magically ask me, like, hey, do you want to play test your own game? So, yeah, I've gotta work up the nerve to do that, and I'm hoping that I can, but we'll see what happens. I've definitely been proud of the little guys that I've painted up. I'm keeping my finished ones nearby so I can make sure that they all work together as like a squad. But I'm excited. I've been fussy and selective, and this guy feels like he's missing something, or I need to do just a little bit of something different with the cape before I can really consider him finished. But I've been really, really fussy and selective about which guys I'm considering done and that I want to include in my final lineup for Mordheim, and presumably also this skirmish game that I'm making, because they should be able to work for that as well. It's miniatures agnostic, so I could use any miniatures that I wanted. Feel like I just got really inspired by everybody at Adepticon who was making games, and they made it seem so fun and easy and interesting and cool. And yeah, their games are fun and interesting and cool, and I want to contribute and try making one too. But I don't know much about game design, and that's definitely something that I struggle with. But it's cool to try new things, try and learn something. Definitely makes you appreciate people who are good at things that you don't necessarily think about or try to be good at. Like, I have a lot of respect for people who actually complete games and are able to make things. Takes a lot of work, and I figured it did, but doing that work myself, you have to be willing to champion your own weird ideas pretty hard, and I'm still working on growing the confidence for that. You're not that late, Josh, but you did lose your crown. You're not the first here, so try again next time. I just thought this guy would look nice with some polka dots, so I'm painting those on. Probably add some highlights to the brown parts. Might try and bring a little bit more vibrancy into his little banana sleeves as well, because I feel like they could use it. We've still got to pick a color for the hilt. We've got to pick a color for his gloves. I think I might just do his gloves in the same kind of minty green. I think that could look nice. Yeah, I do like that. I think that's a good contrast. You can see where his hand is. Oh no! The audio's quiet. Let me see if I can turn that up. Is my camera also kind of fucky? Okay. Put that all the way up. Let me make sure that I have this. How's that? That's setting 2. Is that better? Is that worse? That's setting 2. Okay, setting 2 is better. Okay, we're gonna try setting 3. Is setting 3 better than setting 2? Let me know. And then there's also a 4th setting, and then you can pick your favorite. It also looks like my camera's having problems, so I'm fixing those, I promised. Okay, setting 2. Okay. Alright, setting 2. Setting 2 is good. We liked that one. Do we want to try setting 4, or are we happy just sticking with setting 2? I must have changed the stupid little knob on my microphone when I was setting things up, because it happens. Yeah, try 4? Okay. Let's see what happens. Okay, this is setting 4. There is no setting 5, but I will say in the grimdark future there is only war on setting 4, which does rhyme, so that's at least something. This is setting 4. Let me know what you think. 4 has slightly better quality. Okay. This is good to know. But they're very similar. Alright. Well, we'll stick with 4 unless anybody complains, and then I can always change it. But don't make me, like, flip-flop between a bunch of settings, because then I'll cry. Well, because, okay, 4 is the best. That's good. Alright. Alright, we'll stick with 4. Thank you for tolerating that. I appreciate you going through those checks with me. It makes me very happy. I was saying before that, and I don't know how well you could hear, so I'll go over it again. But I was talking about how I was, working on designing a skirmish game. And I've reached the point where I have a draft version that has all the rules that I've thought of in it, but I've been too nervous to actually play test it with anybody, and I've come to the realization that I will never finish it if I don't actually gain some nerve to ask my friends to play it with me. So I've gotta think and see and try doing that. My friends are all lovely people. I just have the anxiety of, like, a million people packed into one little me. And I'm very nervous, and I know I'm gonna, like, taking feedback is good, and I like getting feedback, but it's difficult for me to process in real time, because I'm like, oh, I didn't do something perfect. I have failed, and of course I haven't done something perfect. I've never designed a game before. There's no way I'm gonna get it right on the first try. But I'm very scared about trying to explain my ideas and have them be right or have them be wrong. So, I've just been hiding my, my actual game from anyone who could play test it with me, and that's not a good way to know whether it works or not. And I was saying, like, it's unrealistic to hope that my friends are just gonna be like, oh, hey, let's play test your game with you. Like, no, that's not how games get play tested. The people who make their own games are real champions for them, and they're asking people to play, and they're teaching people to play, and they're out there talking about their weird little games. I have so much more respect for the amount of confidence that takes, because I just don't currently possess that level of confidence, and it's something I need to work on, because I really want to see if my silly little game about candy cannibalism works. You don't get points for using candy colors, but the basic conceit of the game is you're a bunch of you get 3 models and your opponent gets 3 models. There's also an automated boss that like dice rolls control and stuff like that. And you are trying to become the most powerful snack on the board. And the best way to do that is by killing everybody else and eating them to gain their power. So you can consume your opponents or your teammates, whichever you'd like. And then you get to add their special unique ability onto your list of abilities that you know, thus becoming more powerful. And then whoever is the last model standing, or the last team of models standing, wins. I wanted it to be easy to learn, I wanted it to be extremely violent, and I wanted it to be something that I could use my candy models for. But I don't know if I know how to write an easy game, because every time I look at it, I feel like it's getting more and more complicated, and I need to find a way to keep it simple. But simple, but enough fun to play still. I was very inspired by games like Hobgoblin, because that was super simple to learn the rules for. I looked at Mech 28. I looked at Bill Making Stuff's game, Bangarang. I looked at The Meat Grinder was a huge inspiration. I fucking love that. So yeah, just games like that. Pretty much anything that I had fun playing at Adepticon or watching a video about, I was inspired by. And I want to write some like silly grimdark lore for this candy world and things like that. Like, I'm not worried about creating the flavor of the game, so to speak. It's more the rules part that's really scary and intimidating, and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to make it make sense, but I feel like it's not making much sense. Cam, maybe we should play my game on Tuesday. I'm very scared, though, and I don't know if it will go well or if it will be terrible. And I need everybody who gives me feedback about it to be really gentle when they do, because I don't know. I'm not able to handle when things are difficult sometimes, which does not make for the best game design. But I'm trying really hard. Is the flavor sour and sweet? Well, no, but I've used a lot of food puns for some of the abilities. Like, there's a blast ability you have that's called, like, Baja Blast. Instead of being, like, heavily armored or lightly armored, I put it in as, like, hard shell, soft shell, or unshelled, because that's, like, tacos or walnuts or something, you know? Um, just silly little things like that. Your gang of 3 models is called a snack. Like instead of a gang or a war band, it's a snack of models. Stuff like that. Yeah. Um so the basic like setup for building your snack is that you just choose 3 guys. You can choose what armor and weapons they have, and then each one gets a unique special ability, and then you play. I was really inspired by Mech 28 because I watched a game that um, Bill set up, and L. Graves and Trent Miscast played. And it was really fun because he just started writing their stat sheets down on index cards based on what the models looked like. It seemed really easy to stat out. So I wanted to make sure that when I made a game, it could also have that kind of simple, not too difficult stat creation sort of thing. Giving this guy a waffle cone sword, I don't really know why. I think a lot of other people have peppermint weapons, and maybe he should have had a peppermint sword too, but we've gone waffle cone for him. He is kind of banana split adjacent, so I don't think that's the wrong choice. Well, if you have some Baja Blast guys, that's fine. But honestly, it's not like you have to, like any game, it's not like you have to use a model that looks like a Baja Blast. I thought about making it so that like you had to have like if your model looks like a Cheeto, it has to take the Cheeto ability, but that's not as much fun. People are going to play with whatever models they want, and then there are going to be hopefully passionate fans or people who like enjoy it, who would want to make a whole 3 models just like with this dedicated theme. um I added the big monsters in as a mechanic because I really liked how that worked in a game called Vagrant Song, and I thought that was fun. It gives a little bit of variation to skirmish games besides just like, hey, my model's gonna try and kill your model. It's like, ooh, do we want to team up and take down the monster and then hack it out amongst ourselves, or like what do we want to do here exactly? So I was hoping to add kind of just another fun element into it, but I'm worried that it's going to get complicated and that's going to make it not fun. So I have to figure out how to do that. Another reason I did that was because I wanted to make big models too. I don't always just want to make small guys. I think it will be fun if I get to make big guys too. So, yeah, I guess that's a little bit of a selfish reason, but like, why else would you make a skirmish game if not because you like making models for it? You know, that's the part that makes sense to me. Oh yeah, I forgot about your Baja Blast, Malifaux. It's been ages. I like Malifaux enough, but it seems to be really difficult to get a group to consistently play Malifaux. Um, and also a lot of their models are a real bitch to assemble. So it can be hard to sell people on it, but there's some nice models there. I have quite a few of them. hi, LP. That's fun. What are you sketching? Thanks for joining. Hope you have a good time and you get some good sketches done. I really like how this guy looks. He's probably my favorite of all. Well, not quite my favorite. This is my favorite of all of Trent's sculpts, this little cookie guy. Who's probably not a cookie, but you know. This guy is definitely a close second. And his sleeves look just like bananas, so it's really easy to just go for that theme. I'm nervous about painting his eye, though. That makes me nervous, so I've been avoiding it. I want to give him like a really kawaii eye design. I want to make him cute. Oh, cool. Well, let me know how your sketch page turns out. Definitely either post it here or I know you're in Goobertown, so. And by here, I mean in our rad Discord server that I said I was going to grab a link for and then totally forgot to post in the chat. Let me do that. Yeah, these sleeves are bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S. I'm grabbing that link. Doop. Yeah, so for anybody lurking or watching or whatever, if you want to join our rad Discord, you can. It's free. You don't have to be a Patreon. Patreon, you don't have to give me money. You can give me money if you want to, but it's not required. Money optional. Fun, I would say guaranteed, but then if you don't have fun, don't be like, wow, your server sucks, because I love my server. People in there are kind. I tell them, don't be mean to me, and sometimes they are, but in, like, a nice way. Like, in a friend jokey kind of way, and not a you suck kind of way. We talk about cats. We talk about books. I try to convince everybody to read Angels Before Man, and then they don't. It's kind of a hard sell, to be fair. I don't think everybody has my unique brand of queer religious trauma that makes them feral for stories about fallen angels and stuff being super, super queer. It's great, though, and people should read it. I'm reading the sequel to that right now, Angels and Man, and it is destroying my entire heart. I'm very near to the end, and I've been putting off reading the last of it because then I have to wait for the author to write a third book and finish the trilogy and probably shatter my soul. But in, like, a good kind of cathartic way. It's difficult to describe, but if you have the same brand of everything that I do, you should read it. You might like it. You might also hate it. I don't know. I think the prose is really pretty. There's a lot of really interesting descriptions. There's a lot of pages about, like, friendship and stuff that I just find really, like, warm, for lack of a better way of describing it. Like, the friendships in it that are written just feel very genuine and very inviting and very, very warm. They're good. I like them a lot. There are so many paragraphs that I've just pointed to and been like, oh, but it me, though. That's sometimes what makes a book good.
Well, at least you're working on it, Josh. That's more than most. Also, you don't have to be queer to read queer books, support queer authors and queer creators, because clearly you're here supporting me and my strange little endeavors, and I appreciate that. Thanks, thanks, Topher. I'm actually not saving for more nights right now. Um, so don't give me your money and assume that I'm gonna use it to buy knights. I have off-brand knights that I got at Adepticon that I haven't assembled. That are I so like I'm good on knights right now. I don't The funding that you give me will not be going towards knights at this time. Um, my Patreon dollars are currently being used to build up candy terrain for my candy terrain board. Um, I've put out a tutorial on how to paint candy houses, and I'm working on painting more houses, and I've got a couple of like scatter pieces that are gonna be printed and stuff, and I'm gonna do a whole board and things like that. So yeah, stay tuned. It is coming along. Um I have been working on this house. Um the thing about it is I've decided to do the roof like this, and painting all these shingles is taking longer than I thought that it would. I think it looks great, but I may have underestimated the amount of work that it would take to paint all of that. However, my friends spent precious time at Adepticon assembling this for me, so I want to actually do my absolute best to paint it well. Because it made me very emotional. And I love when my friends care about me. It's very kind of them. Arcade carpet tutorial when? I've already made that. That's like my first video. My solution was print out pictures and tape them to the base. That's how I did it. Of course, now if I revisited that, I would probably freehand it, because I feel like my freehands come a long way. But that's literally like the first one. I love tedious painting, honestly. Thanks, Dan. Oh my gosh, I know, my Adepticon friends are the loveliest people. I cannot get over how amazing everybody is. It's the best couple of days of socializing I have all year. It's a little akin to like a family reunion, because I don't have a supportive family really, so it's nice to have people be like, you were here last year, you're here again this year, I care about you, and I'm happy to see you in some capacity. And we get to like celebrate each other's victories and watch each other grow as painters. We get to play games together, or go, hey, I saw this mini and thought of you, you should check out this booth. We get to eat meals together. It's all these wonderful little things. And I got to meet my my long distance partner there for the very first time. And I don't like that's my it's my private relationship that I don't want to put out too many details of on the internet, because some things I just get to have for me. Sorry guys. But it went really well, and I like him a lot, so it was really nice for that reason too. I think for all of that put together is why I got a bit emotional to hear that Adepticon is changing locations. Because I got to know the location that we were at so well. I liked it so much. But they said that they've outgrown it. They have a lot of attendees, so they're switching it up. Things will be new next year. New isn't always good, but new isn't always bad either, so I'm gonna just try and be optimistic and see what happens. I'll probably go. A lot of people kind of panic bought up hotels in the area, and initially I was like kind of buying into that, but I do have another trip this year, so I'm kind of more wanting to put money into that than have a rather sizable, honestly, for hotels withdrawal for booking that ahead of time. We'll just kind of have to see what happens. Hopefully I get lucky in the hotel lottery for Adepticon, and we'll go from there. I think he's looking good. I think he's looking cute. A couple little spots on the cherry that I think I need to repaint, or that I got things on, but I'm gonna set him aside for this exact moment. He needs to dry a little bit, so we'll move back to another guy. I'm probably just going to be alternating between these two for at least most of tonight. It's really interesting to see these sculpts. I don't know what happened with this one, but he had maybe some sort of support or printing fail where there was an additional part sculpted in that this one doesn't have. There are actually a couple of parts on this one that this one doesn't have, so it's interesting because this is like the original metal one, and then this is the 3D printed version, and it's really neat to be able to compare them and see how they're similar in some aspects and different in other places. I think I am going to keep the pretzel rod and peppermint weapon consistent for these guys because I quite like that. The Fiverr deep lore. I don't... was there deep lore? Did I reveal something? Did I mention an interesting vice as well? Am I missing half of the conversation? Are we having two different conversations? Oh, also, I'm about to have a candy snack. Let's see what flavor I get. The white one fell out first. I ordered some Moomin. I love the Moomins, as you can tell. This cutting mat also has Moomins and Moomin House on it. But when I got a couple of my Moomin items, the place I bought it from had Japanese candy as well. So I got this. It's got Rilakkuma on it, and it's cute. Ooh, this one's like a peppermint one. Yeah, definitely gonna stick with the pretzel rod. Full shout out to Cam there, cause they did it first. They did it on some of their models, and I was like, that is an amazing idea, and I would like to use it. And they were just simply like, I don't own the concept of pretzel rod. Do as you see fit. And I certainly have. It was great as well when I was painting the goblin model that Louise Sugden has. That one has a fishing rod, so I was able to make it like an actual pretzel rod, fishing rod. Like the joke was really good. Oh, interesting little vice, as in the Citadel miniature holder. Yes. This is the good one before they, like, redid them and made them really shitty, so if you can find the old model of Citadel miniature holder, you should buy one. I find them really useful. If you, like, want this as opposed to just, like, blue tack and like a piece of wood or something. I really like this one. I should have bought more of them when the redesign, I guess, was announced, but I just have the one, so it's the one hobby handle that I use. I'm sure it would feel really convenient to have multiple of them, but I'm not too fussy about it. Yeah, he's looking good. Blue tack and wood is the best. The can sound was great ASMR. That's good to know. I worried it was going to be a little loud and jarring for people, but I'm glad it sounded nice. Oh yeah, there's all kinds of different ways to make hobby handles. I think it just really depends on your preference. I like this one because it feels secure. I'm not really worried about the models falling off. It works with square bases, it works with round bases. The things I don't like about it is it makes it impossible to paint the base rim because it grips onto the sides of the bases. And then there are models that are going to just be too big for the hobby handle. So that's something to consider, I guess. If I was doing a hobby handle review, I think I would give it like an 8 out of 10. Taking 2 points off for those two negative things that I mentioned about it feels fair. A can is just a metal jar. Thank you all for listening as well while I talked about my many anxieties with designing a skirmish game. That was very kind of you, and I appreciate you for your encouragement and for your interest and for making jokes about Baja Blast. You guys are really neat. I did ask at the start, but I think there was like 0 people here, so there was nobody to give a response. But please tell me what you guys are working on. I want to know what projects you've been up to. I want to know what, if anything, you're working on now or you hope to be working on when you're like done with your day job or whatever. I don't think most people are working a day job on a Saturday, but you know, we all know that capitalism is a hellscape that none of us can fully escape from. So you might be stuck working a day job. I know LP was doing some sketches, but what are the rest of you up to? Let's see what's out there. Tombguard Skeletons. Oh, cool. Oh, drawing from reference is great. One of the commissions I have is for somebody's D&D character. They want a sketch page of this character, and I will absolutely be drawing from reference. The character is like a kind of goth teenager, so I think I'm gonna maybe pull up some references from that Netflix show Wednesday and take a couple there, or find some other fun poses to do. She does have a hairstyle that I find difficult to draw, so I'm gonna work on that. We'll get it. It'll turn out okay. How did I do your little... I did give you little cuffs there. See, even here I'm using a reference of my other model to paint this model. I don't want them to be exactly the same. I would find that boring if they were, like, always the same flavor. But I do want them to look like they belong to the same squad. And initially, this was an undead warband. I don't know if that's gonna change for Mordheim, because I definitely have this, like, really cool candy white chocolate vampire that I was doing. But he looks sophisticated next to all of these little chonksters. And I kind of love my chonksters more than I love my vampire lord. I still do need to paint his base, which I haven't done. So, yeah. I'm not sure what I'll do. He's a really cool model, though. And I do like how I've painted him for the most part. It's just, the rest of my warband are a bunch of goofy little goobers. Okay, what else we got? Tombguard skeletons. Dan, are you describing me and my hobby? Because if so, I'm glad that you're having a good time. If it's a different person that you're looking at, definitely share. We love supporting other hobbyists. I have to remember that people are watching this stream for me. That's probably the thing that is happening here. Oh, I should say like and subscribe. I noticed that there are people watching the video who haven't liked the video, and I think I'm supposed to tell you that YouTube would like it better if you liked the video. So let's do that if you want to. If you think I'm cool, you can like the video. If you think I'm lame, you can also like the video, so I won't know. Cameron, you're crocheting a Baja Blast dinosaur? That's fucking rad. I'm expecting to see that. I love that you have Baja Blast yarn. Cameron makes the coolest crochet projects. I'm lucky enough to have one. I have a frog. It's not a Baja Blast frog, but it is pretty cool. That, by the way, was not supposed to sound sarcastic. I was not demanding a Baja Blast frog. Please feel no obligation there. I'm sorry. I realized how that sounded when it came out. Ooh, Brady's painting an Eldar Incarn. I don't know that specific Eldar model, but there are a lot of cool Eldar sculpts, so I'm excited to see what that could look like. And you usually do some interesting paint jobs, so I'll be excited to see what the theme is. Giant Turtle Island Castle sounds rad as hell. And Blue Jay Eldar sound cool as well. Is Eldar like the hot new thing? 2 people are painting Eldar. I don't remember them getting a new release, but maybe they did. Taking inspiration from Death from Sandman. I tried so hard to watch and enjoy Sandman. I just couldn't get into it. But, I mean, give Gwendolyn Christie more roles. She's having a great time, and we love to see it. Oh, nice. I'm glad that that big old space marine arrived okay. I have been invited to participate in Fabulous Marines again this year, but I probably won't, not because I don't like it or support the project, but simply because I don't have a lot of energy, and I don't know that I could do another big project, so I might have to sit this one out this year. Thank you for liking the video, LP. I appreciate it. Well, Dan, luckily you can make up for that mistake and like and subscribe. Thank you for your contrition and hopefully your subscription as well. I got to use the word contrition on screen. That's pretty cool. It's a good, big, sophisticated person word that I don't usually get to bust out. Yes, please do, Josh. Have a nice night. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind in the chat. I've actually been, like, painting, which is wild. I think he's coming along well, and I think his stripy pants are starting to look really good. I think I'm going to do polka dots or sprinkle pattern on his little cloak. Actually, let's vote. We'll vote for polka dots or sprinkles. Or, like this star pattern, like we have on this, lemon bar guy. I'll make a poll. Hang on. Chat interaction. People love that shit. Well, you've subscribed now, so that's what matters. What pattern to paint? Stars. Sprinkles. Polka dots. There we go. I've started the poll. Everybody fight it out for your favorite. Fair. Sometimes Baja Blast just happens like that. LP, I can message you about getting involved with Fabulous Marines. I believe the user's handle who heads up the project is Giggling Geekette. I think that's her handle on Instagram. And I believe the, like, icon is a little, like, fuzzy pink and blue creature. So if you find that person, they're in charge of Fabulous Marines. From what I remember. Am I skilled enough to do a heart pattern? Yes, but I don't think it would look good on this particular model. So I probably won't do that one. I also have this entire cloak full of strawberries that I need to paint the patterning on so I can finish this guy off. I am trading this model, once he's complete, for a mug that has a picture of a character that I love from Chainsaw Man on it. I'm doing a trade with a Potter on Instagram, who's one of my mutuals. We both like each other's work, and we're doing an art trade, which is really neat. I'm really pretty psyched about it, honestly. I love Chainsaw Man so much. Me and my partner recently finished watching the first season again. I showed it to him for the first time, and he liked it a lot. So I'm very happy. I'm very pleased. Barter-based economy. I know. Barter-based economies are the fucking best. I mean, they're probably really inconvenient for, like, if you had to actually carry stuff around, but, they are pretty sick for doing little trades. Dude, if you make me a cool sword, I will absolutely do an art trade for a cool sword. And or I could trade a drawing or a model for a sword, but hell yeah. Who's turning down a sword offer? By the way, that is not telling you that you have to offer me a trade of a sword. I'm sorry, I just got excited because swords were mentioned, and, like, who doesn't want one? But yeah, that's rad as hell. I see very few artists, myself included, not wanting to complete a trade for a sword. Yeah, trading GW plastic for GW plastic is cool. For the most part, I need to trade goods and services for money right now because I'm saving to go visit my partner. And I want to just have a bit of extra spending money. If we manage to raise enough, essentially, he'll be able to fly back with me, and spend a couple of weeks, if not, like, over a month, visiting. And honestly, that would be pretty rad. I could use someone around to help with a lot of stuff, anxiety included, so, like, you know, he's not the kind of person that would usually accept any kind of gift or any kind of money, but, for a big expense like that, he's willing to make an exception, so that's definitely why I've shown any amount of hustle with trying to do commissions. Usually I don't really care or don't really put myself out there because I'm worried about, again, failure. We notice a theme here, but this is something that I'd like to have happen, so I'm giving it a little bit of a try. Oh man, a glaive sounds cool. I really like, I like axes a lot in games. Like, big fucking axes are cool. I tend to like the kind of two-handed weapons that I could never realistically carry as a person. Like in Bloodborne, my favorite weapon is the spinny death lollipop. I'm rocking the fucking blood polearm thing in Elden Ring. In Dark Souls 3, my partner who I can't remember if we were dating at the time or not, but he gave me a butcher's blade, which is just a big fucking piece of, it looks like you broke the handle off an enormous cleaver and are just using the cleaver blade to, like, slam people. And I used that for basically the whole game because I grew emotionally attached to the fact that it was a present. Which I tend to do. In Nier Automata, I beat the entire game using a rusty pipe because I had fished it out of a drain while playing the fishing minigame, and again grew emotionally attached to it and didn't want to swap it out for another weapon. No, if I had a sword, like, hang on. Let me actually sketch this up. Fiverr stops mid-drawing, mid-painting to draw up what their ideal sword looks like. Because it has to be a candy sword. Again, we have our beautiful Sumiko Hirashi stationery. Does this pen work? No, not really. I have a pencil. Never fear. Yep. Okay, so starting with the hilt of the sword, we're gonna notice a theme here very quickly. Okay, so we've got a croissant for the hilt, right? And then one of those twisted kind of marshmallow thingies. I understand they're called flumps in the UK. We don't have a particular name for them in the US, but 2 people have told me that they're called that, which is interesting. From the twisted, we probably need another segment there. I don't know how long sword handles are supposed to be. From that, we move to the actual, like, thingy that you have on swords. I don't know what the stone part at the back is called, but that thing, which would be a peppermint. Hopefully this is showing okay. And then I don't know how possible this is to do, but I'm gonna try and draw it out. Kind of trying to make this look like that. Let's come around here. Hang on, bear with me. Drawing as fast as I reasonably can. Something like that. So that it looks like swirled ice cream. Hopefully that's, you know, concept sketchy enough. Maybe we'll put like a fancy F for Fiverr on this part. Also F for fuck 'em up. But something like that, you know? Oh, I'm glad that none of that showed on camera because of the glare. Hang on, let me hold that up. See if that does any better. Can you see this? No, it looks terrible. Kind of something like that. You know, it took like, I don't know, a minute at most. I was gonna say 10 seconds, but I'm like, no, that's more than 10 seconds. So yeah, that would be the sword that I would have, ideally, if I could design any sword. The Fiverr Keyblade. I don't know who the legendary traffic cone man is. I'm so sorry. Polka Dots did win the poll, so we're gonna do some polka dots on this cloak. Why does every trinket on my table have to be so lovely? Well, it's actually just kind of like a bit of philosophy for how to... Actually, let's do a room tour. I'll show you guys my hobby room. I meant to do like a room makeover sort of thing, but this is the room that I do all of my hobbying in. you can see that Lila, James, and Fiverr painted this room on in that month. We're supposed to put another cork board up on this one, but we still haven't done that yet. But yeah, there's some psychologically something, I'm sure, to having like your creative space reflect stuff that you find inspiring. So like up there I have a cursed Furby, and then I have a Frankie Stein Monster High doll on it because they've been retconned to be non-binary, and they're also Frankenstein, so I legally had to purchase that. This is a ice cream cone thing that I made for Monster Bash that I never made a video about, but I do have Cherry Light. These are some plushies that I own. There's a rug on the floor that looks like cherries. There's a backpack because I still haven't fully packed from Adepticon. Me and my friends made Five Nights at Freddy's paper pals when the movie came out, and I made one of my teddy bear. I don't understand Five Nights at Freddy's, but I have friends who love it, so I was being like involved in their hobbies, which is cool. And I like this bear, so he gets to live up there. I need to put that ice cream sign up there, but I haven't hung it up yet. I have a pin board with some stuff that's like inspiring or interesting. We have Mech 28, the Mothman, some postcards, Hobgoblin, my Adepticon badge, stuff like that. This is my gaming table. This mat was a gift. This mat I bought, obviously. I've got some Magic cards in an Arizona green tea box. This White Dwarf magazine. I have one of my display cabinets over here. I realize I've walked away from the mic, so you guys probably can't hear me super great. But these are some stickers from other content creators. And then this is kind of an overview of the desk. I have stuff like terrain that I'm working on up there, a Moomin piggy bank, some tarot cards, a Mothman, some games. Those are like all of my RPGs and rule books and stuff. But yeah, that's kind of the space. I've got like some posters of treats, and I want to put more dessert themed stuff in this room. But like I wanted to make a creative space that felt like the stuff that I make and the stuff that I like. So that makes it, I don't know, easier to find inspiration and to feel like this is a room dedicated to just kind of the stuff that I enjoy. Yeah, I realized that I'd wandered away from the mic. Whoopsie. Anyway, you got to see the hobby room in its entirety, so that's something. I don't know. Yeah, I do have a cookie cat blanket that I use as a curtain because there's like a window there. It has like a really bad stain from when I spilled gnome oil on the back of it, so it's got like a crusty spot. It doesn't really work as like a nice throw blanket anymore, but it does work as a fitting curtain for this room specifically. I was gonna paint polka dots. That's what I was gonna do. Yeah, the desk is really cute. I want it to be cute in here. I definitely feel like I could get more decorations as time goes on, but budget, stuff like that. Really what I need to do is put some shelving in here, and then I can just kind of put stuff that I already own on shelves. I'm really happy with how it turned out, though. This room was ugly as fuck, before I remodeled it. Had, like, dark wood paneling, had these weird mirrors and these strange shell light fixtures, so this was the first room in my house that really got fully remodeled. I'm really happy with it now. I'm proud of it. It does feel like my own. I'm slowly going to work on making the rest of the house feel like my own. It just takes time and money. Which I don't always have tons of, but, you know, we work on it. There's no rush. I can do this a little at a time. I think sometimes, especially when there's a lot of focus on speed painting and completing projects, people try to do things as quickly as possible. I just don't really have a huge interest in doing that. I get overwhelmed and burnt out pretty quickly, pretty easily. So I have to do things at my own pace, or else I can't really do them at all. It's unfortunate sometimes. I don't always accomplish all the things that I would like to, but I do get to do enough that I feel like I'm making progress. And that's something. I do really like the choice of polka dots. I think this looks good, guys. Good job. I'm sure any of the options would have looked nice, but I like this one. Makes him look friendly. Which I suppose he's supposed to be intimidating because he's like a guard of some kind. He looks like a town guard, but I think it's fine. I think I got a little bit of brown on that yellow, but that's okay. Can touch that up. Yeah, everybody's spilled Nuln Oil at some point in time. Happens to the best and worst of us. You especially, if you're out there making swords, must forge on, like Jesus. I just don't like deadlines, for stuff that I feel like I want to take my time on. It's good to have some deadlines, like, for Golden Demon, for instance. Like, when I know that that's coming up, I'm like, okay, I definitely got to paint something, and it has to be done by this date. Because then I can make sure that I plan my year around that and make sure that it's done. Plenty of time to spare. Although I'm not really sure what I'm going to put in for next year's Golden Demon, because I've finished painting all of the knights that would comprise an army, so I either got to switch to something like Dreadnoughts or get a knight that's like one of the Horus Heresy ones. I could do a Chaos Knight. But honestly, that's going to be a decision to be made after I do all of my big travels. See where the budget's at, stuff like that. Oh, you don't make real swords anymore. You make 3D swords. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I was curious as to how you were shipping so many swords to so many different artists everywhere. The fact that they're 3D, like, printed swords, that makes a lot more sense. Propane gets expensive, yeah. I can see that. I used to have a friend that did wood carvings in my garage. She moved away. She had to go move back to her family, and I miss her very much. But she would often have to buy propane to power stuff for like firing it, I think, to like do wood burning on some of the carvings. I don't exactly know what the process was, but it was really neat. I think these polka dots are looking really nice. I'm debating adding a little bit of pink to his design somewhere, just as like an accent, but honestly, just like these three colors are looking really good too, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna incorporate pink or not. It's giving very strong mint chocolate vibes, which is exactly what I wanted. I'm afraid that introducing another color might mess that up. But maybe I can do it like for part of the light that he's carrying. He also might get a little, because this one has a really cute little cherry nose, he will probably be receiving that too. So that'll be another little color there. And that's something to keep in mind. I have like a bunch of piano versions of Studio Ghibli songs going on in the background, and I keep wanting to like do little hum alongs to them, and I'm telling myself not to. Thank you also for all tuning in while I paint little polka dots repetitively. This is my favorite kind of shit to do, is just needless freehand, so I know it's not the most interesting thing in the world to watch, but I'm glad you're here experiencing this process with me. Randy Rednose. Nah, he'll get a different name than that. They're all gonna get kind of food names. I think the only ones right now who have names set in stone is this frog. His name is Freddo, because chocolate frogs in the UK are Freddo frogs. I've learned not the UK, well, just Europe in general. Um, they sell them there. And then this one is Lemoncello, I think is gonna be his name, because he's a lemon bar. Very much inspired by Cam's lemon bars, because Cam makes fantastic lemon bars. Um, and then I've got this little guy, this little pit fighter, who's going to be named Smorgasbord. I still think I need to, I'm trying to make him look like a cupcake, and I think I just need to keep messing with the icing color. That's going to be his little top half, because it doesn't look quite right yet. But they will all have names, they will all have backstories, and they will all be very loved by me. They are my special little guys. Has a cat hair on it, of course. I try so hard not to let any cats into the hobby room. But the cat hair gets in anyway. My models will never be fully free of cat hair. I just have to learn to accept that. Thank you for joining us, LP. It's been great having you. I can't wait to see how your sketches turned out. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Really appreciate you joining us. Of course, I appreciate all of you who are still here. You're all lovely. Trying to think, like, I haven't really watched any new TV shows or anything like that. I've been kind of going back and doing rewatches of stuff with friends. So, like, we literally just finished a Haikyuu rewatch, me and my friend Shane. He'd never seen it before and he liked it, so that was cool. I was like going through because I was trying to figure out like what subscription services I wanted and stuff. And I was like, I haven't really been playing much PlayStation Online or Nintendo Online, so cut off both those. And I was like, yeah, I really like watching content though, so I've gotten a subscription to the like Dropout channel, which does the Dimension 20 campaigns. I'm probably gonna rewatch the Crown of Candy one because I love that one. But I've been watching some of their Game Changer episodes and they're pretty funny. But that's just like, you know, I need a content every now and again. They seem like good folks to support. Happy to give them. That's like $4.99. It's really not that much. It's less than I was spending on other things that I wasn't really using. So yes, definitely post. I'm excited. I'll respond to it when I am done streaming. So probably in about, we're at basically 30 now. I'll probably go for another half hour, make this about a 2-hour stream. Because that's about the amount of time that I can focus on painting for, when I have to also be doing the talking, and it's about as much time as I want to spend in a single, like, unbroken session, essentially, because if I spend all this time scrunched over at my painting desk, my back will hurt, and that's not fun. Nobody likes back pain. One last polka dot to do. Alright, what do you guys think? Do you like it? I'm pretty happy with it. He's a bit of a chonkster, so we couldn't call him a Thin Mint, you know? He's very round in shape, but he's got the same color scheme as a Thin Mint. I do think I need to repaint his boots. They're pretty dull, but I think for the rest of him, he's looking pretty good. So I'll hit the boots and the gloves with another coat of this chocolate color. Maybe I'll paint some eyes. Because our banana dude's probably dried by now. He should be. I've been painting this one for a while, so I should probably be able to go back and add the eye details and do some more highlighting. But I think with adding those polka dots, we've really got this guy's personality to shine, which is lovely to see. He very much looks like he can be part of the troupe now, which is exciting. Patrolling those butterscotch treats. Butterscotch streets is what I meant to say. I said butterscotch treats, so you know where my brain is at. Getting rid of ne'er-do-wells. Maybe he is the ne'er-do-well. I don't know. Is he a good guy or a bad guy? I think he's a good guy. I always sort of cheer my guys for being good, and then you get them in combat, and I'm like, oh no, they need to do all of the murdering. So, maybe morally gray at best. Who but Fiverr is worthy of wearing the candy crown? Man, when I saw what the premise of that campaign was, I was like, I want to be there. How did somebody else come up with this idea and execute it so well? This feels like my idea. It wasn't. I'm not saying that like my idea was stolen or anything. It's such a perfect like fusion of things that I would find interesting or cool, that it was really neat to see somebody else's take on it. I sometimes struggle to find like peers in candy painting, so it can be difficult when I get stumped for an idea of how to do a technique or how to like flesh out a world where everything is supposed to be candy. And having somebody else basically approach the same premise and do it very well was incredibly inspiring. I always get really excited when somebody else is like, oh man, I want to paint a Cheeto thing. I want to do a potato chip thing. I want to do a red velvet cake. I'm like, yes, do it. And then show it to me so I can see how you did it. Let me get some inspiration from whatever you do. It's not like I want to steal people's ideas, but people have good ideas or interesting takes. It was really fun watching somebody else do like a Dirt and Worms theme, which I had never figured out how to do myself, but then seeing someone else do it, I'm like, oh, actually, I think I could execute this, and then trying it and being like, yeah, that kind of works. It's just great. It's nice. I think when you look at the hobby as something to share instead of something that you have to keep for yourself, or like you're worried about someone stealing, I guess, like, I don't own the idea of painting miniatures like candy. I would never claim to. So it's great to see other people do it too. I don't think I'm gonna blackmail anyone to invite me to their game. That doesn't sound nice. I would love to be on their production department though. If they need someone to make candy miniatures for them, hit me up. I'm really good at it. The closest you get is candy corn for Halloween themed minis. Yeah, the egg night turned out so cool. I really liked seeing you put that together. It was cool. I did a little bit of 3D modeling in college. Like, that was one of the classes that we had to take, and I'm horrible at it. I don't really like it. But seeing people be able to do it really well, and put stuff together really efficiently is always really interesting and cool. I think you just have to have a really unique understanding of how shapes are constructed, and be able to think in that kind of 3D space on like an XYZ grid. And I just feel trapped in the grid. I really struggle with that. So I was never able to get the hang of it with the like speed and comprehension that I would have liked to. 3D sculptors are an incredibly talented group, and I hope that they get the respect that they deserve, because it's essential for getting 3D prints of stuff that we like made, or stuff that we draw or think of. It's so cool. Like this miniature that I'm painting right now, I probably wouldn't be able to paint it. Yeah, because this particular version is a 3D print, but I definitely wouldn't be able to paint it without some amount of 3D sculpting technology. Oh yes, you do have the Dippin' Dots bases modeled. I definitely want to try those out. That seems like it would be really fun. I'm not going to ask you to make a square one, because like that seems to be what I am using for these guys, and he's already on a base. He would have looked great on a Dippin' Dots base. But I have so many miniatures. I will absolutely find an appropriate miniature for a Dippin' Dots base, and it's going to look fantastic if I get to try one out. Okay, let me find the one dark brown that I have. It's a Vallejo one. I think I have it around somewhere. And it's going to be for the eyes. You blink and then bam, detail. Yeah, I mean, it depends. It honestly depends on what kind of painter you are, what kind of sculptor you are. I wish it had been something that I enjoyed and had a passion for, because it would have been really useful to be able to 3D sculpt. But unfortunately, it's not for me. Are these dark brown or no, that's black. Okay, so we did actually use black. No, I don't need, like, these already have bases, and I've chosen the bases that I'm using for these guys to match the terrain that I have, that I painted. So that's why I'm fine with this being the way that it is. I don't feel a strong need to change it. But other models that I have that aren't these ones will look good on your Dippin' Dots bases. It's just that, you know, I've already got these painted and based and stuff. Well, not all painted, but people understand what I'm saying even when I don't explain it well. Where did the black go? There it is. Yeah. I love drawing characters. It's a lot of fun. I hated sculpting the characters that I drew. One of those eyes is perfect. Can we get a second one? Yes. Both of them look great. Excellent. He looks so good. We did real good, folks. Now we gotta try for a third. Honestly, I think that looks good. Why am I whispering? I kind of like it just like that. It's a little bit of an expressive eye, I suppose, to have it just be this kind of half circle. But like he looks like he's smiling. Hopefully it looks enough like an eyeball still. I think it does. I hope that everybody else thinks it does too. Because I kind of love it. I think I might put a couple of dark brown spots on his banana sleeves. And do some highlighting, obviously, to some of the chocolate parts. But, like, he's getting close to done. Oh my gosh. We're really making some progress. Hang on, you haven't actually been able to see the eye that I painted. Let me get these up to the camera. Get you some good. Okay. Come on now. Focuses for like a second, and then it goes away. Probably because my hand shakes a little bit. I can't seem to get it to focus, but it's there, I swear. And I'll post photos of them. I swear I will. We've got a little bit of time left. We got about 20 minutes left. I think it's very fun to be able to pursue things like 3D sculpting in just your own way and find your own methods, but then have someone be like, yeah, you can do that in 4 seconds, actually. It's like, well, I'm glad I spent 20 hours on this. What do bananas with spots actually look like? I think those look like banana spots. I don't want to give him too many. I want it to, you know, still be a banana that people would eat. Like, that's an important factor on the sleeves of this model, whether it's too bruised of a banana or not. Honestly, the problems I find myself solving are wild, and nobody else would be considering them. It does like this one on the side that I've done with the spots looks significantly more like a banana than the one where it doesn't have them. So, I mean, I'm clearly doing something right. Looks so cute. He's so happy to be a necromancer. Maybe that's how he keeps his banana peel from decaying. He has to, like, sacrifice and necromance people so that he can stay ever young and fresh. And he's just really happy because he's been summoning a lot of good zombies lately. Did I just create a really dark backstory for a banana wizard? I might have. There are like some flaws in this 3D sculpt from when I removed the supports. Uh, I don't know if I'd ever really thought about how to remove supports elegantly before, and I don't know what the best way to do it is. So I just sort of went for it, and I definitely left behind some little like pock marks, but I'm just going to paint them as if they're dots in the banana, and I think that will disguise them, and people won't notice that they're there. Because that's what I've been doing, and it seems to be working pretty well. It's also nice because they're in kind of random places, which helps with figuring out where to put these spots. I'm so afraid I'm gonna do like a big horrible splotch and ruin all of this work, but it hasn't happened yet. Got only one edge of this banana to do. Edge, side, whatever the fuck. Oh, and I almost dropped my paintbrush onto the model, so, something to be said about prophetic things. The nana must flow. I don't think I'll be making a Dune reference here. I didn't like Dune all that much. I did want to. I wanted to be on the Dune hype train, but I watched it. I was like, I don't really like this. When do the aliens get there? Like, when does something cool and sci-fi happen? And then they were like, there aren't aliens in Dune. And I was like, well, that sucks. When does anything interesting happen? And it was like, in a while. So, I have not watched Dune Part 2, which people do say is good. The Dune fans seem very happy. He's so cute. I've made a terrible, evil little banana man, but he's adorable. Oh, I thought you were doing like a spice must flow thing, because that's what they say in Dune. But I think if you were applying that to like the silly little backstory that I came up with for this guy, it was just, yeah, it makes sense. I think we both get what each other's saying. A lot of these characters end up with like a little dollop of whipped cream or a little bit of sauce on them. I don't know if I'll be putting any on this guy. Or if so, where I'll be placing it. So I have to think about that too. All important things to take into consideration. I don't want to over or under decorate any of these particular guys. I had thought about making the spikes on his head into ice cream cones, but I think that the waffle cone texture will be just a little bit too difficult to paint onto them efficiently, so I decided not to try for it. Maybe if I had multiples of this model, I would have been bold enough, but I did ask for just one print, so I'm sticking with that. I'm treating this as if it's the only one of this sculpt that I have, so that I make sure I do my very best. But it's also nice to know that if I were to mess up in a way that was somehow unsavable, I would be able to ask for another one. I've been trying to forget that's a possibility, so I do my best work, but some part of my head is really reassured by the fact that that's not the case. Oh yeah, he's looking good with the highlights. Keep moving them around sometimes. I don't know. There's a childish impulse within me to play with my figures like they're little toys. I don't think I'll be negating that anytime soon. He looks great. Got a couple rounds of highlights left to do, but not much. This gang is really coming together. A tiny yellow master of evil. I think it would be fun if I had really thought about how 3D sculpting would be able to impact future things for me. I really think that I would have benefited from getting good at it. I would have loved to see my drawings and characters actually look good as 3D sculpts. It's definitely not work that I want to put in at this stage. I think it's just kind of one of those alternate paths that I could have gone down and didn't. That's okay. I'm always very pleased to see the work of talented miniature sculptors. I think I actually want to use a slightly darker tan. Where's my skeleton bone at? Yep, there it is. Have very specific recipes for painting chocolate. I think that skeleton bone works as a very nice final highlight for chocolates. If You're doing like a milk chocolate kind of look. Which I am. I decided to go with milk chocolate. That's usually the one I paint. I think I tend to paint the sort of foods that I like to eat. And I prefer milk chocolate to dark chocolate. I do not have what the kids call a refined palate. Good evening. Hello, Carbide. How are you doing? Welcome. You come in as I am finishing up some work on this very cute banana wizard. Banana necromancer. I don't know if he was originally intended to be either a banana or a necromancer, but it's certainly the position that he's found himself in. I am trying to make sure that I'm still talking and thinking of things to say when I'm also very focused on trying not to mess up these edge highlights. I'm not really the best at edge highlighting, but the only way to get better is to keep trying. That one didn't turn out so bad. You working on any hobby projects? Only me could work such magic. That's quite the compliment, thank you. It's a great sculpt. I'm pleased to be able to give it the old sugar candy treatment. Yeah, it is usually a pretty colorful palette. Um, Tonight's palette is Moon Dust from Army Painter, Skeleton Bone from Army Painter, Brain Matter Beige from Army Painter, Scrag Brown, Mornfang Brown, and, as always, Gauss Blaster Green. Oh, and a little bit of black, but I honestly don't remember which black paint I used, so... One black paint is honestly as good as any other. I don't think I actually like that painted on highlight. It's okay. I think I can paint over it. Thank you for joining us, Soda. I'll be heading off soon. It's hit the 2-hour mark, and that's usually about where I tap out, which is a shame since Carbide just got here. But sometimes that's just how it goes. Thanks for joining us. It was great to have you here. Just want to do a little bit to finish up the majority of highlights on this guy, I think. Actually be really nice to be able to finish him off, but I don't know if I really want to do that much paint mixing and cleanup, because I do need to kind of mix up a highlight color for the little green gloves that he has, and figure out if I'm going to do any highlighting on the fabric. So I'll probably call it for, I'll be smart. I'll be smart and call it here. Okay, maybe I'll be a little bit dumb. Maybe I'll give myself like a couple more minutes to, because I did just get all of that red on the paint palette. I could paint some candy stripes on this guy's little spiky thing. Why is the paint so damn watered down? Just painting with it, and it's like, you know when you haven't shook up a bottle of ketchup really well? It's just running like that weird ketchup water that you get. It was running like, you know, paint that's not been properly thinned, or if you're me, like ketchup water. I think the best way to do peppermint stripes is to actually do like thicker stripes with thin ones in between. I always find that looks more like peppermint than anything else that I try. It does take a good bit of concentration to pull off and get right. And I definitely struggle with getting the thinner stripes positioned perfectly in between the thicker ones. But I think I'm going to attempt that here as well. It's also very difficult if you have a shape like this, where you then want to match the pattern on the back. The back never looks as good as the front to me if I'm trying to match up the patterns. But I think about it like carousel horses. I don't know if you've ever looked at carousel horses a lot, but the side that faces the audience, like the outer side of a carousel horse, is always more decorated and better painted than the inner side. I think a lot of people will also have the front of their models look better than the back of their models. That's probably not a unique take. I think that's likely just sort of standard. Yeah, that looks pretty good. If you need to head to sleep, go to sleep. Yeah, I don't know why I have carousel horse facts for you, but I certainly do. That's something I can provide, apparently. There was a park kind of a drive away from where I grew up, but it had this beautiful like restored antique carousel that I thought was about the neatest thing in the world. Still do, honestly. It is one of the only things that I miss from where I grew up. But it's absolutely gorgeous. The last time I went home, I did get to ride it again. And that was very cool. I knew that was probably the last time I was going to ride on that carousel, as I don't really intend on going back to my hometown ever again. But that carousel does hold a very special place in my heart. I like it a lot. Do I strike you as the sort of person who would have carousel facts? Does that just seem like something that I would know? I have more carousel facts. Most carousels have a lead horse. So like there's one horse that's designated as the lead horse. It is often the most like elaborately decorated, and to each their own opinion for which horse is considered the most beautiful in any carousel, but it's said that the lead horse is the most beautifully decorated horse. And the nice part is that in Disneyland, on their carousel, the lead horse is dedicated and I believe named after Julie Andrews. So that's kind of neat. Another fun fact specifically about the Disney carousel is that originally all of the horses on it were not white horses. But for whatever reason, genius boy Walter decided that more people would always, like, I guess he just observed them or something. I don't really know how he determined this. So science methods vary. But he saw that the white horses were always being taken first, as people saw them as the like hero horse, because there's a lot of heroes in stories that ride white horses. So he was like, we need to make all of the horses white so that everybody can feel like a hero. Everybody is the main character when they ride the Disney carousel. So they repainted all of the non-white horses to be white, which, saying that definitely sounds bad. It doesn't sound great. I did not make these choices. These were the choices of the Walt Disney Company. But there you go. There's some carousel facts for you. Oh my god, I would love to add an actual carousel horse to my home decor. I've thought about doing it, but they're kind of expensive. I always wanted one. I was jealous of, like, the burger joint that had one as a kid. I thought it was, like, the coolest thing. Yeah, Loki would love a carousel horse. Enjoy your carousel dreams. I'm, like, again, about to be done. I just realized I didn't add dots to this pretzel rod, and I feel like doing that now, so I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna be done for realsies. Gotta add the salt. Neither one of these models that I worked on is going to be done tonight, but they both look a lot better, and I'm a lot happier about where we're at with them. Yeah, it depends, man. It depends on the carousel horse that you're looking to buy. And also, like, I don't know if I could keep a carousel horse in my main room because the cats would realize it was made out of wood and slowly destroy. And that would probably kill my heart a good deal, which means I'd either have to have it in my bedroom, in this hobby room, which, I mean, it would fit, but it would be getting kind of cramped if I had a carousel horse in here. Honestly, one of my fever dreams as a child for things I wanted in my own house was to have a carousel in my own backyard. I realize how unrealistic it is, but that is something that I would love to one day have. I don't think that will ever happen, but if I win the lottery, maybe. We'll see. Anyway, that's going to be it from me tonight. I'm so glad that you had a nice time learning about carousels and helping me paint up these two amazing miniatures. I will post some photos of them on the Discord and Instagram and stuff. They're not quite done yet, but they're getting close. I hope you will be kind to each other, and also, arguably more importantly, be kind to yourself. I'm still working on that one. I'm so glad you were here. Thank you for joining me. Have a good night, everybody. Have a good night.